meeting, and we won't interrupt that, but we want to go ahead and get started with our program. First of all, I want to make some introductions. We got some special guests here today. First of all, I want to introduce Patriot Mayor Gillespie. He'll be up here in a little bit with some other activities. We have retired Chief Gann, Chief Wadsworth, and retired Chief Brown. There's a multitude of award winners, which everybody will get to meet here shortly. At this point, I would like to ask everyone that will to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order, arms. Please be seated. The VFW has many different programs, youth programs, police officer, firefighters, EMT, teachers of the year, all sorts of things. We try to get involved in our community. I want to ask Mr. Chuck Egler, Comrade Chuck Egler, to come forward with me. Chuck is the chairman of our youth activities programs, Patriot and Voice of Democracy program. He's the one that's been out earlier in the year, visiting all the schools, talking to teachers, and trying to drum up the participation in this program. So I'm going to let him explain just a little bit about the programs, and then we're going to make some more presentations.
Wow. No, I really enjoy the programs. The Patriots 10 are for the junior high school, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, where the students write an essay with a chance to win a $10,000 college scholarship. First, they have to win at the post level. Today, we have our first, second, third place winners. The Voice of Democracy are for high school students, where they write a speech, again, with that ultimate goal for a college scholarship. And they can participate in 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And we have our winner today for the Post. Our Patriots 10 won second place in the district. That's good. It's all awards. And they can continue. I go to the schools and tell every year that these are recurring programs to encourage the students. And some years we'll have hundreds of participants, and then we'll have very few. It's it runs a cycle. But I like to go out there and talk to them. And I'm already on the agenda for some of the schools at the beginning of the school year to go talk to the teachers. So maybe we'll get better participation next week.
Well, if we get any more participation in Patriot 10, we're going to have a problem. Don't run off, Chuck.
You're going to have a problem, that's what he's telling me.
Chuck managed to convince a teacher at the junior high school that she got very behind the program, Mrs. Bruce, and we ended up with 300 applications to entries in the Patriot 10 program. And trying to narrow that down to 3 winners, I'm going to say the competition was very difficult. The judges had some hard decisions to make. But we're going to start with our... Where are we at here?
Well, the winner that has to go to a ball game, right?
Which one is it? We got to go first?
Chuck.
Yeah.
Chuck.
Can you get Ms. James Johnson? I'd like to have her and her family.
Get towards him.
Our parents up here,
so I can see all y'all.
Before we give her awards, she's gonna read her essay. And I think she goes by Joycey, is that right? Jamie? Okay, I'm sorry. So this young lady won our first place here at the Post, and she placed second in our district judging. We're going to ask her to read her essay because these young folks have a lot to say. speak up and let them all hear you. Go.
When I observe this country through the eyes of the media, broadcasting their views of the daily ins and outs of the American people, I often wonder to myself, does patriotism really matter anymore? I then call myself crazy because patriotism is just as alive now as it was in 1776 when the Declaration of Independence was written and this great nation was formed. I'm 13 years old and I have learned of this country's problems from my teachers, family, and retired military veterans that I've been proud to know. I've also been very blessed in the fact that in the 6th grade, I was fortunate enough to go on a week-long trip to our capital, Washington, D.C. While there, I was honored to welcome the veterans from several wars, sharing my honor and pride for my country with them. There are many times that Americans have shown their love for this wonderful country. Often, these are times of tragedy, but times of peril often teach us more than times of constant victory. If you asked an American citizen to define tragedy in his own words, I believe he would say 2 words: 9/11. On September 11, 2001, tragedy struck the United States in an attempt to force us to break our faith in our country and give in to terrorism. It is in these times that Americans answer the call of patriotism and stand strong in our beliefs of our country. Thousands of young Americans enlisted in our military to ensure that our freedoms would not again be threatened. They have fought for our freedom and continue fighting for our freedom every day. They enlisted as Army medics and doctors to help the injured get back to full health and make sure they would live to come back home to see their families. I thank my Lord for sending all of these men and women who are risking their own lives to ensure that the citizens of the United States of America can live peacefully every day. Yes, patriotism still matters. Yes, the United States of America believes in this great nation. Patriotism will never die in the United States of America as long as there is will to keep this land the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Have a certificate that reads Youth Essay Certificate of Merit presented to James Johnson, VFW Post 1349. The Post Award is $100 and her second place position at the district is a $200 award. Congratulations, young man.
Good job.
Mr. Trevor Taylor, where are you at, young man? There he is. Trevor is our second place winner in our Patriots Pen program, and he's going to read his essay. You speak up loud, make sure they hear you.
Everybody knows about the war in Iraq, and everybody knows about the soldiers who risked their lives to protect the freedom from the war. However, the people know what patriotism really is. I believe we must first look at the dictionary definition of patriotism. Merriam-Webster defines patriotism as love for or devotion for one's country. John F. Kennedy defined patriotism best in his inaugural speech in 1960 when he said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." Now, with the definition of patriotism in mind, does it still matter? Could we respond with anything but yes? When thinking about love and devotion to one's country, the first to come to mind are the veterans who made the ultimate sacrifices, their lives, limbs, and so much more. I had the honor of meeting some of these veterans firsthand with the 2009 honor flight, and I will cherish those memories forever. My 6th grade class at Patriot Intermediate School greeted the World War II honor flight veterans on our field trip to Washington, D.C. We met the veterans as they arrived at the memorial. To decide if patriotism still matters only requires an image of the honor flight World War II veterans visiting the memorial to put that issue to rest. As the travel veterans arrived, we held signs welcoming and thanking them, saluted them, shook hands with them, hugged their necks, and shed tears with them. It was one of the most moving experiences of my life. Patriotism filled those veterans, our 6th grade class, and everyone in our present on that day. Will Rogers was correct. We can't all be heroes. Some of us have to stand on the curb and clap as they go by. Patriotism is very much alive. It is alive in our heroes and in those who ensure those heroes continue to receive the honors and respect they deserve. Freedom does not give us a license to live any way we choose. Rather, it gives us the opportunity to become who we are. We demonstrate patriotism by exercising our right to vote and obeying the laws, even though we may not agree with them at all times. Patriotism is speaking for those who cannot speak for themselves. Patriotism is the glue that holds our nation together. And yes, it lives.
Here's your certificate. That's a certificate of merit. And your second place check, $75. Good job.
Congratulations. Great job. Be proud of it. Thank you. I'm probably gonna mess up this meeting, but I'm gonna try. Katie Earhart. I hope I close anyway. Mom and Dad, come on.
Not only have mom and dad, we have grandma and grandpa.
That's right. Grandma and grandma are back now. Come on up if you want. Katie is our third place winner in our Patriot STEM program, and I can't say enough about these young folks and their patriotism and their concern for veterans and our country. Katie's going to read her essay.
Does patriotism still matter? Not many people think about the importance of patriotism. Patriotism means the love of your country, no matter what country that might be. Most people, including me, do not know what it's like to live somewhere without any love of the country. Patriotism is what holds our beautiful country together. It is like the roots to a giant willow, the strong love of a newlywed couple, or the ring to an Oreo. Any way you look at it, patriotism is holding us together. Our country was forming. When our country was forming, men gave up their homes, families, and even their lives to fight for freedom. Their love and courageous sacrifices gave us our rights that are still being defended today. The country's bond was tested severely during the Civil War when our nation suffered from internal turmoil, but we overcame our division and pulled ourselves together again. The war since these two examples have not been fought on American soil. The daily life of the average American has not been affected, but friends and families of soldiers would strongly disagree. So patriotism is a common bond between people. Whenever soldiers are deployed, they are sent off with cheers, bands, and waving flags. Once they arrive at their site, the cheers fade into a memory. The soldiers then feel isolated without his family close by. Our men and women find comfort from the fact that they know their families and others are safe because of them, and that's reward enough. Even though these brave soldiers serve without expecting awards, it is still our duty to appreciate what they do and to make sure that they can feel and see our support. Today we show patriotism in many ways. We can hang a flag for all to see and pray, and we can help the families left behind. These veterans may not agree with the cause of the war, but are willing to give their lives for their country. We can at least respect their sacrifices and the loyalty and dignity they demonstrate. Patriotism mattered in 1776 when the Declaration of Independence was signed by our forefathers, and it still matters today as the war continues. Any way you look at it, patriotism is holding us together.
Here's your certificate.
Thank you.
Check for $50.
Move them off.
These young folks didn't really want to get up here. You know, we told them they didn't have to. One said yes, and the others did. So they all have a little bravery on their own.
All right. Amanda Winslow and her family, please. Amanda is our Voice of Democracy winner at the high school level. This program, they make an audio cassette recording of their essay throughout the judging at all levels, nobody knows. They don't see a picture, they don't see the individual, they don't know nothing about it. It's judged strictly by the quality of the essay. So, Amanda, if you would please speak up loud.
This year's theme was, does my generation have a role in America's future? Ronald Reagan, 40th President of the United States, said, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. This generation, my generation, has a responsibility to uphold. Many people have dedicated their lives to keep America the land of the free and home of the brave. We live in a country full of opportunities and chances that were handed down by past generations. This generation, my generation, needs to step up, fight for, and protect and cherish our country so that we can prepare a better future for those to come. In the future, there will be wars, there will be downfalls and struggles in our country. My generations will be the ones who will have to do something about America's future challenges that we will face. My generation has shown many examples to prove that we have what it takes to do something about it. In 2003, 3 aspiring filmmakers went to Africa. They were young, fresh out of school, and looking for inspiration. When they arrived in Africa, they learned about a 23-year-long war in Central Africa that is still going on today. The war is led by Joseph Kony, who created the Lord's Resistance Army, full of children soldiers who have been kidnapped and are being forced to fight against the government of Uganda. Over 20 million innocent civilians have been killed in this war. When the young filmmakers learned about this, they wanted to help the children and civilians of Uganda in any way that they could. They began sharing their documentaries shot in Uganda and throughout Africa. Once people learned about what was happening, they wanted to help also. The public's interest in helping out started a non-profit organization called Invisible Children that is now fully dedicated to ending the war. The Invisible Children organization, along with 2 of the original co-founders, Lauren Full and Jason Russell, just organized a bill that has passed Congress and that is going to help end the war. They are making other people's future brighter. This is just a small example of what my generation can do. This generation, my generation, has the potential to change the world. However, in order to do this, we must fight for and protect our community and be able to do whatever it takes to give generations to come a better future.
Voice of Democracy, and your check, $100.
Thank you.
You can go to the mall.
You can participate again. You got one more year left, don't you?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, folks. Keep proud of her. Very good. I can't say enough about these young folks. You know, I hear stories in the news of how terrible the teenagers are in this country, and you know, on and on and on. But I don't believe it because I see it right here in our community. These young folks are out there and they're doing the right thing, and they're supporting our country. And you just can't give them enough admiration. I like to give them all 4 of them a big round of applause. Okay, who we're going to do next here? Oh, Chuck, we got one. She's not able to attend today, but the teacher that was kind of the driving force behind the Patriot Pen program, Miss Libby Bruce, we're going to give her a certificate that reads,
For meritorious and distinguished service in furthering the aims and ideals of the veterans from foreign wars in the United States. Signed by the commander and the adjutant. And
Chuck will be sure and get that to her.
Yes,
She was the driving force behind so many applications in our Patriot Pen program, and hopefully we can get her to do the same thing in the upcoming year. Thank you, Chuck. Mr. Mayor, if you'd come up here with me, and Chief Brown. VFW has a program, it's called the Gold Medal Awards program, where we recognize a firefighter, an EMT, and a police officer each year. It's one of the most enjoyable programs that I get to participate in, because the fire chief and the police chief do all the work and we get the credit. But anyway, our Firefighter of the Year award goes to Sergeant Joshua Bingham. He's unable to be here with us today. His wife understands in the hospital. But I'm going to give this to Chief Brown on behalf of the mayor and the VFW, and he'll be sure and get it to him. And I think the total check's in there, but that one, Tony Shaw, we need you up here to, hang on, Chief Brown. Fire Medic Tony Shaw chosen as EMT of the Year. I can't say enough about the Prattville Fire Department and the EMT program. Many years we've been doing this, and we've had state winners, we had a national winner, and this young man is just another example of the quality of that program and how they serve our community. If you two would make the presentations, please.
Thank you.
Special recognition of exemplary service to humanity by administrative emergency medical assistance, Tony Shaw. Thank you.
There's, in the quota with Firefighter Bingham's, there's a check for $200 for the Fraternal or the Firefighters Association on behalf of the VFW. Thank you. Chief Wadsworth, Lieutenant Pilson. Ms. Pilson, you may come over, sweetheart. Come on over here, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Family up there?
There you go. Lieutenant Pilson is our Police Officer of the Year. I want to ask Chief Wadsworth to give a little background in his career. How long have you been with the police department?
For 22 years.
22 years.
Lieutenant Pilson was a Marine before he came to the police department. He's served all the shifts. I spent many hours on the third shift. I know there's a lot of stories we can tell about the third shift, especially rats in the primary school, especially run up your pants leg. But Lieutenant Pilson has done us a great job, and he has made the thin blue line a lot stronger for his services. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Certificate of appreciation awarded to Lieutenant James H. Pilson in grateful recognition of unyielding adherence to the highest ideal of law enforcement in maintaining, preserving, and protecting the lawful rights of all citizens. Thank you.
There's also a $100 check to the Fraternal Order of Police in behalf of Lieutenant Pilson. Congratulations.
Please be careful. No, you're fine. Just be careful.
When we started this program years ago, I have to count to be sure, let's see, 4, 8, 9, 10, this is the 11th year. When we started this program, this gentleman over here with no hair, Mr. Cleveland, was post commander at the time, and I was the senior vice commander. And I told Cleve I'd like to start this program and run it through the city. And then he come up with the idea that we should have a perpetual plaque to hang in the city hall. So every year I go down and snatch them off the wall, and I give them back to the mayor and give him the responsibility of putting them back up. And I get the new names on them. That's so everybody in the city can see who our public servants are and are aware of their recognition. So I entrust that to you, Mr. Mayor.
I noticed a spot where these had come off of. So
Yeah, kind of bare right now. Ain't gonna be long, we're gonna have to get some new ones. We're about to run out of space, but we'll take care of that.
Any help finding that, to find more of them, let me know.
We'll take care of it, don't worry. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
We're about done, folks, but I got a couple of special things I want to do, and at this point, I would like to have Fire Chief Gann and Chief Wadsworth to come forward, please.
Careful, Chief.
Like I say, 11 years ago when we started this program, I made contact with Chief Gann, Chief Wadsworth, explained the program to them, and they said, hey, it sounds like a great idea. I give them the applications each year, they do all the paperwork, they make the decisions, the choices amongst their peers, and I just want to give them both a little special recognition upon Chief Gann's retirement and Chief Wadsworth's pending retirement. I want to give them both a little special recognition for their meritorious service in support of the Veterans Reform Awards and the programs that they have supported all these years. We appreciate the service. We hope they enjoy their retirement and the best of luck.
Oh, yeah.
One other thing, Chief, both you chiefs. There's an open invitation every year. You can always come back and eat fish.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our awards program. I hope everyone's enjoyed it. I hope everyone enjoyed the meal. You don't have to run off. Stay around, make yourself at home, whatever you like. Thank you.